Okay, we're back online. Hello everybody on Facebook. Hello everybody here. Thanks for watching. Now we are going to introduce some basic supplies. If you are a beginner, you can get the 3 basics to begin with. We have one small whistle brush, one large wolf hair, which is also whistle hair, but in Chinese we call that wolf. Wolf hair is a stiff hair, general name for stiff hair. It's made of whistle tails. And sheep hair brush, which is kind of always white. Yeah, it's a soft brush. And if you want to save time on practicing, because if you use this basic brush, you can still get good result. Let's compare 2 brushes. The wolf hair brush I will use for bamboo leaf, and I will use the same brush that Victoria used for this painting. Okay, this is a raccoon brush. I just named it for fun. It's a mixture of some stiff brushes. We have a friend who made this selected hair. This the description says, but it's a kind of, because they're bear brush. We have bear brushes, wolf hair brush. We have badger brush. Why don't we have a raccoon brush? That's what. Yeah, it's a go-to brush, just like the killer brush. We have the ox ear hair brush. This is on the soft side. This raccoon brush is very pointed, and you can see how it works. I think you already see that. And let me just. By the way, we have 2 kinds of paper. One is mulberry paper number 1. Number 2 is a little rougher. Number 1 is smooth, without stringing fiber. It's almost like a rice paper texture. And this is the rice paper we call Xuan paper. It's named after the county where in Anhui it was produced. And there's raw paper or sized paper. This is unsized, absorbent paper. Let's see. I tried to make a picture, or should I just do the demo for testing the paper? Okay, let me also test the brush, right? So first one is the raccoon brush. Let's see how it goes. And you can see it goes very easy. I will pass around so you can feel it, okay, after this demo. And on this paper, you can see it absorbs, right? On this paper, on this paper, if you you'll make a blob if you don't move for, you see it will start to bleed, right? But if the ink is heavy, thick, it blurs less. Yeah. So if you use dry brush or thicker ink, you can control that. We also have another thing, it's called a pitch set glue. You can use that with this paper to control bleeding. But we love it, we don't really think it's a problem with bleeding. A good paper bleed, and they should show the stroke more sensitive. Yeah. On this paper, you have more time. Actually, it will not bleed. It will absorb, but not bleed that much. See, we just test. It starts to bleed. I can see the rough edge, but it gives more time. Right? That's why it's easier for students. So if you paint slower, that's okay. On more sensitive paper, you have to do faster. And still keep expanding, spreading. So you can you need to paint smaller stroke when it bleeds faster. I think perfect stroke is not very important. Perfect group is more important. So you can have an entire picture with only one perfect stroke, and the other could be just so-so or suggestive ones. You don't have to do every stroke resembling the real objects on the bamboo leaf. Only one or two is enough in a painting. You can see in one of the ancient. This is a book called "The Simple and Clear Bamboo Painting Manual." We have this. It's sold out because out of print we cannot get anymore. But I have it scanned. That's why I cut it. You can go to Kinko's or copy center to make a copy if you want. But we have digital copy already made at Blue Heron Art. You can download it and just print it the page you want. It's $5 or something, $5.99 I think. So this gives you a lot of formulas, or we call it fractal elements. Fractal elements, like this is a term in computer design. They use one group of leaf to paint the entire tree instead of to paint bitmap everything, the shape and the form. You just use the element. That's, I think, the Chinese invention, ancient invention, the fractal concept. So you only use. So this book gives you all the. I will go through this later when we paint pictures, but just imagine, this is important to have group like three. So this two paper difference. Let me continue with another brush. Let's see. So if you use the beginner brush, actually she used for the flower. So let me just wash this. This is the. Let me see. This is the wolf hair brush. Okay, I'm going to use this with lighter ink so we can paint the bamboo stalk with light ink. Light ink tends to bleed more. That's why peach sap. I don't have peach sap today for you, but you can try a little bit from my pack. The way I use peach sap powder is like you can put like pigments, just a little bit. You can grind with a fingertip, just like pigments, or you can put it in a bottle if you use a lot. That helps to dilute the ink or color without losing the thickness, the value. So it's a transparent, transparent glue. Yeah. A gum, a kind of sap. Yeah. So this controls the bleeding. You can see I use a little. Instead of using pure water, I use the. See that. If you don't use it, you will see that. That's with the peach sap, right? And you don't have to use this on the other paper because the paper is considered semi-sized already. So I just use ink without peach sap. On mulberry paper. Okay, let me just do it this way. You see. It's very thin ink, right? It will start to bleed. If you, that's about 10 seconds, it's not enough for you to make a decision of where to go next. Yeah. So,
and which is the top paper?
this is the mulberry number 1. This is the unsized single strand. It's the single means the single ply, the thickness. Thin is the same rice paper. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do a test on this one without the pitch sap. So just pure water with some ink, and you will see. I still want to control. I don't want to ruin the painting. Right? I use less water, less moisture. So that's, when you make a cross, you can make a hard cross or jump over it. Okay. So let's do on this side there. You want to vary the level of the knots, so they're not like a parallel, like a train trail. You can. Yeah, when it's slower, I mean when it's drier, it goes slower. That's okay. In the beginning, I just go faster. Otherwise, it will bleed. Okay. So you can control the bleeding with speeding, with your skill, with the pressure sometimes, and you can paint less than the thickness to let it bleed a little bit. And then another thing is you can paint the area you are not care this bleeding. You don't want to paint the birds right away with the blood, right? So but it's okay to have some leaves you can fix. You can add more to adjust that. So you use the brush according to the brush, according to moisture in the brush, where to paint. So you don't paint certain ways. You just go everywhere. Since you have a complete bamboo, in Chinese 沉竹, 胸有成竹, keep a complete bamboo in your mind, in your heart, so you can start from anywhere. I don't have a complete bamboo, by the way. I just go with the flow. Doesn't matter. So, I do care where I start my branch. I will talk this throughout the class, I think, because it's very important to avoid the middle, right? You want to start from the side. We have 8 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not to start from the corner. At least the main branch. Okay. So let's let me finish the demo. We can use different brushes for different parts, or you can use a single brush. I think the traditional way is to use one brush all the way. This is like calligraphy. When you change brush, sometimes the mood changes. So, but I think for beginners, it's good to use small brush for the little branches. Also the joint. Let me start the joint first. The accent stroke on the joints, you use dark ink. Dot, dot. That's the easiest I did. You can connect it with a little dash, but don't see the dash is like a one stroke. You something like that. So just make it thicker, right? Just like wider. Sometimes you connect it, sometimes not. Just with whatever the result is. So this is a small whistle brush. If you have more than one, you can vary the tone. So you don't have to wash. I didn't wash the dark brush. It has the dark in it. So when you use one brush, you have to wash it. And the best way is just to clean the leftover brush, left ink in the brush, and then just add water, so it will become lighter. So this is the way to draw the stem, the little branches. Sometimes some people say you cannot do both sides. I said it's not a restrictive rule, but it better vary the weight. Maybe one side is longer than the other. It's okay, I think. So remember, the knots on these are not very obvious, but you still do it in sections of just like the main stalk, and then you can add little branches from outside in like that. You can also do this after the leaves is done, so to save some stroke. You don't have to do like I use light ink so you can see what's underneath. And you can add more if needed. In a perspective way, they're not symmetrical, right? Okay, you better overlap several groups, and then when you overlap the group, you pay attention on the shape of that group. The best shape is a common shape, like a triangle or diamond, but not equal the triangle. Keep that in mind, so you don't get too loose on the whole shape of a group. That's what the next. So you can add with different tones. This is just basic brush, I think, basic wallpaper brush. You can use darker tone or lighter tone to bring the dark to the light, the opposite value. Tone and value is exchangeable, right? The darkness of the ink or color. Dense and sparse, that's another contrast. Besides dark and light, you should have dense and sparse. So some part is very dense, so dense that the wind cannot even go through. That's the metaphor, they said. But the sparse, you can have a galloping horse to feel it. That's you leave major areas of. So I'm looking at the whole shape. You can combine several groups. Let me make it, because on this book they tell you a lot of examples like that. So let me make another one on this shrine paper or rice paper. I better have a reference. See if I can follow. This is like a swallow, and it can have even a head, like looking back. 5-stroke. Let's make another group of 3-stroke. So long, large. And then when you have a rhythm, you should vary the size and the shape. Big, middle, small, or long, middle, short. right? But you don't go like steps. You jump from large to small and then middle. Just like dancing, rhythm. So large, and then you have small, middle. You know, just the example. And then large, or long, short, and middle. So just vary the size. This two could be more different. So this is the long, middle, and short. Anyway, just vary the size. This paper is more absorbent, you can see. So I paint slower, I cannot go faster. Otherwise you will have more flying white. Okay, and let's use the small brush for the stamps. So you can use the three basic for different parts, or just use one, the wolf hair for all. I don't see that sign, the behind. So you can just cover the section with more leaves. This is the brush with some glue in it. I think it's not really too much. Now you should always go outside of the frame to suggest infinity. Don't be afraid to break the frame. Okay. So single stem is kind of boring, so let me add a supporting stem. And that could be on the other side or followed, but not parallel to the first one. It could be a small one, narrower, or a darker one if you want, but just different. So I should avoid the middle. It's kind of hard to add the dark one. There's a trick that I just found last night. I keep learning. I was stay with Judy, and she has a set of book on the Four Gentlemen by Dr. Chu. Yeah. He showed some trick. It's very interesting. Let me try this. So if you want to make a cross without you know, like so it's a masking concept like that. So you can make a sand. Let me try it. It'll be fun. So you can just go right across. You see, I tried to avoid that, but it didn't. I think it's not the computer paper. It should use a non-absorbent paper. So that's the idea. Interesting technique. You know, this little thing is very easy to learn. You just grab it very easy, but it doesn't really make that much difference. So I just maybe avoid it, like jump over. It's easier. Just like you use liquid mask on watercolor paper or not is a preference. Usually, if you could, you should use natural void, like leave white on the paper without using liquid mask. We don't use really hard mask. We just use just control it. So I try to avoid the middle. I think that's I'm getting too crowded here. And it's not a composition section, so I try to just show the difference in some tools. I can do better work maybe on the table later. You can practice some strokes on different paper, just get a feel of what you like. It's really a personal preference. The rice paper usually good for flower and birds. The bamboo considered as a flower and birds category. They're more sensitive and shows more depth in tonal values. More like more calligraphic. And this one is better with texture. You can use more washes and without worry about breaking it. I can even put it in the sink to wash it. It's like a fabric, very tough. I think it's better add another to this side. Just to have a direction change. Some accident is okay, you don't want to really fix little details like the beauty of what we call the frankness is part of the master piece. So just consider their beautiful mistakes, yeah, or we call wabi sabi in Japanese, imperfect beauty. So some mistake is okay. But don't let me see. There are two. Sometimes you can have like different sizes of leaf, but don't vary in one layer. You can. When later I tried maybe do a landscape kind of bamboo grove, you can have more perspective. But besides, these are based on idea like the shadow cast on the window cover in the moonlight, like a full moon night. You see the shadows cast on ground or on the window, right? That's the idea where this painting from. But we don't really paint the perspective. It's profile or solid way painting, yeah. And then it's a shadow, cast shadow. So there are this book, like the master to seed garden manual also, is woodblock print, right? There's no ink values or tones, so you have to learn this through the teacher, or from a real life or a lesson like this. Okay, there are three different, three mistakes you can avoid. Actually, if you only paint based on this kind of old book without a teacher showing you how to load the brush, you may make three mistakes. One is called ban, Chinese ban, 刻节. To translate literally, ban means woodblock. 刻 means carved. 节 means I can say it's pretty less flow, no floating, no bleeding, no. So if you paint exactly like this, it's boring or too dull, too like a pattern, too much like a pattern, too much like a print, or too much lack of flow, like a carved book. So don't paint like a carved book. Yeah. So that's why you can have more spontaneity when you actually paint. So this is a reference book that it's a good thing. If you have a modern, why don't we use a like a high resolution color copy? That gives you limit. You know how to build it, but you cannot reproduce it. Even I cannot reproduce this. So you don't learn from photograph like a color copy. Learn from this. You have more room to create your own beautiful strokes with tonality, with random effect. So they must have some accidental effect, random effect in Chinese painting. Actual painting is not the from the teaching book. So we use that as a rule, a principle book, right? It's a very good resource, but you don't paint exactly like this. We also have a color copy available these days. They use a computer to make it with gradation or with kind of the color. That will help a little bit. At least to suggest that it's not flat like this. Okay. So you load the brush with multiple tones, from dark, light, clean water, light ink, and dark ink. So you will create this kind of changes naturally. You don't have to go to the palette all the time to mix it. It just the light ink comes in the end of the painting or writing, because the bottom or the heel of the brush is clean, right? So there are many ways to get the light. One way is to use remaining ink. In Chinese, we call it resonance. In music, it's the echo of a note. It lasts very long. In Chinese string music, I played called guqin. A sound could last like 30 seconds. You cannot even hear it, but it's still there. That's the idea. You use the brush all the way. This is called one-stroke painting. One stroke means literally one stroke. You don't reload. We consider the whole group as a one stroke. The whole tree is a one stroke. The whole painting is one stroke. Even you reload, try to kind of resume the stage where you are. Yeah, just look like it one stroke. That's the anthological or aesthetic requirement to make it. It's a concept from the Taoism. One stroke derives the second stroke. First stroke dominant govern the second one, or produce. I think Taoism doesn't say govern. One produce two, two produce three, right? Or give birth to second produce the third. So you just go with one stroke. That's a theory. It was discussed by Shi Tao, my favorite artist who does good bamboo painting also. Let me imitate one Shi Tao if we have time. Maybe 5 minutes? Okay, you can come here, I will imitate Shi Tao for you.
When you say one stroke,
Mogu, yeah, it's one stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 写意 also one stroke. 写意 means spontaneous or ideal writing. I tried to mimic a Shi Tao I found online, but I can, let me see, I can bend this arm so it will not fail. Bear with me on Facebook, guys. I have to adjust the camera first. I think I did it. Okay. Shi Tao. Shi Tao is a Qing Dynasty painter. He is ahead of his time. His inspiration of all the modern masters. Some masters said they wish they could born 300 years earlier and just grind ink for Shi Tao. Yeah. Okay, this painting I try to reproduce is just like the painting we did with orchid. It's bamboo and plum. That's the next subject matter that you learn in the afternoon. So let me start with. I'll try to remember 3 strokes there. That's similar to I already did in the first one. I think when I try to do that again. So his idea is 1 stroke. 1 stroke. 1 stroke produces the second, and the goal is the flow. And then you just add water, maybe. I'll show you the original. It's on my phone, but I try to remember. It's very important to memorize some masterpieces by copy. Not you can copy by tracing or without looking at it. You read it like you read the calligraphy copybook. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you always go with the situation on the paper. I remember there's something there, but I don't have to do that. If I don't have room, you don't have to reproduce the painting. And Zhang Daqian, who is a great forger of all time, he could reproduce the Shitao and just sign with the Shitao signature, and then the museum is taking as authentic because he doesn't have any sample. Just learn by copy the spirit, learn the heart of the ancient artists. Okay, but when you learn from a master, you can become a second master. That's why my style is not very important. You learn from the best in the history, right? Just one brush. So I squeeze out the ink in the front and just dip it in water. So now I have light ink, right? It's like that. I did just same ink. I didn't have my glass on. Yeah. Follow your gut without the glass. One way to get loose. Well, we learned the basic, like how to do the stem, but eventually you just forget all the. Just go with the totality. Yeah. So this is a branch goes this way. Okay, let me lift the mustache. You can use mustache as just the weak part, the rhythm, or the calyx. I will show you how to do that. So the flower is not floating in the air. I think we better stop. I will write the poem, the Shitao words. Let me bring that to the original. I can't really remember the poem. If I can. Oh. Pardon me? Yeah. Yeah, I try to, let me just write it. It doesn't matter. I think it's man. Yeah, man means full, filled. 空 means the air, in the 空 sky, air. 散香 I think 散 means disperse, fragrance. 散香 如 I think and mist and smoke 烟雾 yeah 烟雾 I cannot remember the traditional. Is that right?
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Anyway, 满空散香如烟雾. The fragrance dispersed in the sky as mist and fog. 一片明月. Like
it's a moon.
Yeah, the moonlight shade, a beam of moonlight shining upon the 落梅花. Yeah, the theme is a palm, but like I said, the shadow, the bamboo in the moon shadow suggests the moon. I don't paint the moon. The moon is in my writing. So this is the poem that Shitao wrote. I think he's also a poet. 满空散香如烟雾，一片明月落梅花. Can you translate it again? It's hard to translate.
Well, the air is full of the mist and the mist is a mist, and yan means like a smoke, but it's sort of like a misty air. Yeah, fog. And Ipian Rui is the moon shadow and showing the fragrance of the palm blossom. Yeah, he's a very good poet.
Yeah, I would say mimic Shitao. So I do give credit to
Shitao. Yeah,
mimic Shitao. So on Facebook, maybe I'll post the original painting as well as the copy from memory. Okay.
Is that a sponge you're putting under?
Oh yes, it's a very firm sponge. You can yeah, rubber. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you put the seal on before you mount the painting?
Yeah, I think it's okay to do that. Yeah, you can also do that afterwards. It will got some stain on the table. Sometimes that happens. Yeah. But most people have to do that. You cannot go back to the painting if you take it today, right? I had to. So this is my name seal. I can also do a mood seal with. That's too big. Let me see if I got smaller ones. I think I saw something. Oh, here. We have longevity. We have this one I carved very early. And put this one on. It could be on the other side or on this. Yeah. a little lower, maybe. I use this to block the chi from escaping. So your eye bounce back to that direction. It's understood, 于心了然, understood by heart. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Henry, I think this is a good stopping place for us.
Yeah.
And we will resume at 1 o'clock. We'll take a lunch break now. And